dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School
5 and everybody viewing this. Before we begin our lesson, social studies, there is a timetable here for the exam that is coming. The next week you have an exam, cycle 1. So it is important for you to view the timetable and notice when you have your exam, on which day and at what time your exam is going to be conducted. So having said that, if you look at the timetable here, the exam starts on 9th up to 13th of May 2020. That's next week on Saturday. And if you look at Saturday, we have English, it's here. Then Sunday we have social studies. Monday the 11th we have mathematics. Tuesday we have science. Wednesday you have Arabic. And the other week you have Islamic on Saturday 16th. It's important for you to note these dates because you have been given the timetable. So start revising as early as now for you to get high marks, because we shall be recording, and cycle 1 examination added to cycle 2 is what will be put together to enable you to proceed to the next level. Now we shall go straight to what we are supposed to do. Last week we were looking at the Constitution. In our previous lesson we looked at the Constitution and we looked at what the Constitution is, how it helps our country, and we said that a constitution means like laws or rules that are written and put in a special document for people to be guided, to be followed by everybody that lives in the country. Now in our chapter 6 still we are looking at the government. Now under the government, at the end of this lesson you should be in a position to tell what the government is, the arms or branches of the government, and what each branch does. Now every government, like here in Somaliland, our government is headed by the president, yes, but the president does not work alone. He doesn't work alone. There are those people and other bodies, other branches that help him to do his work, to lead the country, because the country is big. The same like in a school, for example, the head teacher has the prefects who help, or teachers have prefects who help them to do their work. Now these prefects are also leaders. The same way in our country, the government has got other branches that help them to lead the people. So today, as we look at the government, we shall look at the arms of the government. Arms. Okay, this is an arm. This is an arm. The hand made of arm. Now when we talk about arms, how many arms do I have? I have 2 arms, this and this. And therefore, that is for a human being. But the government has 3 arms, not hands, but branches that help the government to do work. Now these arms are here, 3 of them, and as you can see here on our screen, that the government of Somaliland is divided into 3 main branches. One is legislature. That word is legislature. Legislature, the other name is parliament. Parliament. I think some of you call it parliament. Parliament. So parliament. Then 2, we have the executive branch. Executive branch. And 3, we have the judicial branch. Judicial branch. Now, good. We have said this, that the government of Somaliland is divided into 3. 1, we have the legislature, also called parliament. 2, we have the executive. And 3, we have the judicial branch. Now, just to try and look at it again, I hope there'll be no reflection. But just to try and look at it again, this is what you said, that here is the government. right? Then this government is one. It is in the country. It is led by 3 branches. They work together. These 3 branches work together, right? Now, these 3 branches, one here we said is the parliament. Parliament. And here we said executive. And 3 we said we have judicial. The judicial. Parliament, executive, and judicial. Now, the parliament, as you move along State House, you realize that there is a parliament opposite the State House here in Hargeisa. So, the parliament, what do they do? What is their work? Right? It helps. It is part of the government. It helps. What is their work? Now, coming back to what we are supposed to do here, we notice that we notice something, that if you have ever seen this signpost showing the Parliament of the Republic of Somaliland. So this parliament, what does it do? When they sit in a meeting, in a conference, what do they do? And we shall realize one thing. There's also another picture there showing the parliament, group of people who are elected, who are chosen by the people to lead them. So we shall be looking at what they do when they sit. What do they do? So here they are sitting, they are in a meeting, they are discussing and debating some issues. We shall look at them. You can see all these. That is the parliament. So here, about the parliament that we have already seen, we have seen pictures showing where the parliament is and people in the parliament, a large building where there are people discussing and talking about some things. And as you can see again here, the parliament, you can see it's a building. There are some other people on the other floor there. They are discussing. But what do you think they are discussing? So what does the parliament do? What is the work of the parliament? Any country, just like our country Somaliland, has parliament. What does the parliament do? What is their work? Now, this is what we shall be looking at, that the parliament of Somaliland represents the people. It represents the people. People choose them. Those people who go to the parliament. All the people in Somaliland choose the members of parliament, those members who sit in the parliament. Now, the main work of the parliament is to, 1, make laws needed by the country. They make laws, the rules that a country needs. Because without rules, then there is no country at all. Every country has got the laws that must be followed by everybody, right? The same way in a class, there are those rules that must be followed. Some of them are common sense, others must be written, others must be reminded. You have to be reminded every time, so that you have to follow them. You have to be guided by those rules. So the same way, the parliament makes those laws. It makes the rules that have to guide a country. Then another thing that the parliament does is to approve the laws and policies that have been set by the president. So the president comes with something, a policy, or maybe a directive or something that he wants the people to do. But before he tells people to do, he will take to the parliament and discuss, asks the members in the parliament to discuss and approve so that it becomes the law. And that is what they do. They discuss and talk about it. Now, already those are the main functions of the parliament. The second branch is the executive, and you have heard this word CEO. CEO is Chief Executive Officer. So executive means the boss, bosses that run a given company or country. So executive are the bosses that run a country. Now, who is the boss of this country? Who is the boss of our country? Good. The boss of our country is the president. The president is the boss. Good. Now, that means that the executive branch of the parliament, or of the government, consists of the president, vice president, ministers, and assistant ministers. I repeat, it consists of the president, who is the boss. He is helped by the vice president, and ministers, and assistant ministers. The president is the head of the government. Now, after we have looked at these two branches of the government, next time we meet, we shall be looking at the third branch of the government, which is the judicial. But just to try and recap, we have said that the government is made up of three branches. One, we have the parliament or legislature. Two, we have the executive, which we have looked at here. And three, we have the judicial. The parliament usually makes laws. It also approves other laws that have been made by the president. Then the executive, on the other hand, is made of the boss of the country, who is the president. Now, the president is helped by the vice president, the ministers, and assistant ministers. Well, with that in mind, I would wish you to revise. Then at the end of this lesson, there will be some notes for you to write as you revise for your examinations next week. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time.